So guys, today we have been starting with plotting. So when we say plotting, when we plot it, the purpose is to represent the data that we have. So before this, what we guys need to do, we need to understand what is exploratory data analysis. So this exploratory data analysis has been divided into three parts. One is univariate graph, second is bivariate, and third is multivariate graph. So did anybody has any idea what are univariate graphs?
Which has only one variable plotted on the graph.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. And what is bivariate graph?
Comparing two variables.
So bivariate graphs are the ones in which we are dealing with the two variables in total.
We compare two variables in bivariate graph.
So whosoever is speaking, the voice is not audible to me. Can this?
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
So can you hear me now?
Hello guys, am I audible to all?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. So what I've been
Yes,
asking
sir.
is, yeah. So guys, I've been telling you about the univariate graphs. The univariate graphs are the ones that are being constructed on the single variable. So let's example a bar graph, a line graph, a histogram. These are the examples of univariate graphs. Where, so let me write it down for you guys. Let me open Jupyter Notebook and I'll write it there.
Sir, what is plotting actually?
Plotting is making graphs from Python using different libraries. So there are different libraries in Python with the help of which we can construct the graphs. So these graphs are nothing but a useful component when we go for an exploratory data analysis. These are plots. These are known as Python plots, Python plotting. Is this fine?
Yes, sir, it's fine.
Is this fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me tell you, when we say plotting, it has been divided into three parts. One is univariate graph, second is bivariate graph, and third is multivariate graphs. So let me write it down. So the example is line graph. Do you know what is line graph? A simple line kind of a thing that we plot. Second is histogram. Third is simple bar chart. So these are some of the examples of.
So what is the basic difference between a histogram and a bar chart?
Yeah, so histogram is nothing but a frequency plot. If I'll take an example. So bar graph is simply saying, say, which area has how much of the sales. So let's example, I'll say, I'll pick 5 cities, 5 states in India, and I'll say how much is the sales for my company in these 5 cities or 5 states. So that is being represented by bar graph. But let's example, if I'll say, so let me just have a look over the screen. So histogram is a frequency plot. So let's example, if I have say different marks for different students, say say I have this data. These are nothing but the marks they have scored in a subject. Guys, am I audible?
Yes,
Guys, am I audible?
yes, you are audible.
Okay. So these are the marks that
Hello,
we have.
sir. Hello.
Sir, background voice is very interrupting, sir.
Sorry.
Sir, your background voice is very interrupting. We can't hear you properly.
Guys, okay, just give me a second. Let me close the door. Just give me a minute. Guys, please put yourself on mute.
Galaxy on 7 Pro.
So guys, is my voice better now?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, sure. So let's example, we have the data that has been displayed on the screen right now. So what we have been doing, say for this, I need to construct a histogram. So histogram will be simply the bins that we create. So let's example, I create a bin, say 20. To 30.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. People this side. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. From 2 or 3 days, I'm not able to do class. Can you tell me the YouTube link where I can go for Python all videos? Sir? Your Python videos.
So you have to contact IIBM. So they are storing these
Okay.
videos somewhere. So they will give you the link.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So in a similar way, let's example, I'll create a bin. I'll create certain bins, and I'll see how many variables are there, how many values are there between 20 to 30. So let's example, I have 8 variables, 9 variables, and say 6 variables, and so on in the different bins that I have constructed. If I'll plot that bin, so that will be the histogram plot. So this histogram plot is very important in identifying whether the data is normal or not normal. So that we will cover later. But till the time, so this is the histogram. Histogram is the frequency plot. But when we say bar graph is simply like a bar kind of a plot that can be done in a single sequence where we don't need any bins or any frequencies to be plotted. Did you get it?
So histogram has values in intervals on x-axis, right?
So histogram, if I'll show you histogram how it looks like.
No, I mean it has value in intervals.
Yeah, it has values in intervals. It's a continuous frequency plot.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, so these are the examples of the univariate graphs. Now, when we say about the bivariate graphs, so these are some examples. This doesn't mean that these are the only ones. We have a box plot as well, and we have many graphs for this. So the another is bivariate graphs.
So while doing EDA, we usually use box plots, right?
Yeah, box plot is important. So it doesn't mean that always we need to use. So it depends on like the type of analysis that we have been doing. Let's example, we have been analyzing say like the dependency between two variables. So like in ADA, we are seeing if we are basically analyzing the variation in the data, then the box plot is being used. In case the variation doesn't play that much of the role, then we can skip box plot and we can go with the other, say, histogram or any other type of graphs as well. So it totally depends on what is the thing that you're trying to solve. So the purpose of box plot is different. The purpose of box plot is how much variation is there in the data. So let's example, I have say 5 teams. These 5 teams have different AHTs. AHT, if I'll say average handle time of the call. So let's example, or I can take another example as well. So the people who are basically from the calling background, they understand AHT. And in case if I'll say the 5 states in which we have 5 or 10 cities and we have different sales, and I want to compare these, so I use the box plot just to see the variation in the sales that we have for the different cities that we have been drawing. So did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we say bivariate graph is when we need to analyze two variables or two graphs together. So let's example, I have a graph called the correlation graph kind of a thing, where I have been trying to identify the scatter plot. A correlation kind of a thing is a bivariate graph. So don't worry, we'll cover all. If you don't know any one of it, then there's no problem and we'll cover it all. Scatter plot. Then we have some other bivariate graphs as well. So anybody has any idea what are the different bivariate graphs we have apart from this? So anybody use any other bivariate graph?
So
So
heat
here,
map.
yeah, heat map. So heat map is basically a multivariate graph as well. And it's a bivariate graph as well. You're right. So for bivariate graphs, we have limited options. We have scatter plot. We have correlation coefficient kind of analysis. We have a regression analysis that we will be covering when we will be covering the machine learning. So these are the certain things. So I'll say correlation coefficient, regression analysis. Heat map is also a thing, but heat map is a thing that we can use basically in multivariate graphs. So I'll say here we use correlation matrix plus heat maps. So these are not limited to these. So we will be covering more as well.
Sir, but correlation coefficient and regression analysis are a part of non-graphical analysis, right?
Yeah, these are non-graphical analysis, but the thing is when we construct a correlation coefficient of two variables, we can plot it. We can plot these. So these are the things we will be seeing when we will be working on regression analysis. Whenever the coefficient of the regression comes, they are the best guide in estimating which of the variable has how much of the influence on the dependent variable one. Second is we can plot these graphs just to see like which of the variable is doing how much with the dependent variable we are solving. So apart from that, we have another variables as well, another graph as well, say variable importance through entropy and information gain that we normally work when we work on decision trees and random forests. But I have not covered those. So because I'll be showing these to you, then you will be understanding what are these. So scatter plot is a thing we will be covering now, but let's say in this plotting. But rest of the graphs we will be covering basically like when we will be working on the machine learning algorithms. So these are the coefficients. You're right, but we can make the graphical representation of those just in case we need to identify multicollinearity one, just like a variation inflation factor that also comes into consideration. So for those, we will construct these graphs as well. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll start. I'll say as a first line. So whenever we need to construct any of the graphs, so one of the important thing that normally comes into consideration is which library to use in Python to construct these graphs. So we have various libraries. So one is matplotlib, second is seaborn, third is like many more libraries. So basically, but the pandas plotting as well. So but the basic thing is the most important library is matplotlib, because every time when we work on the plotting, so whatever library the system uses, they have some dependency on the matplotlib only. So if you're clear with matplotlib, then you are clear with 80-90% of the plotting with Python. So as a first step, what we need to do is we need to install matplotlib. So I'll say just give me a second. Import
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question. So when we say that when we are doing EDA, so what we exactly do in EDA, like checking multicollinearity and plotting, is that only thing? Like, if you can elaborate a bit on it.
Yeah, sure. So the thing is, what do we mean by EDA? EDA is exploratory data analysis. We explore the data. What we do, we explore the data. Just hold for a second. Let me show you something. So, okay, so let me write it down. So it's basically analysis. So what we do, we explore the data. So what do we mean by exploring the data? So this exploring, yeah, this exploring is nothing but trying to understand all about the data. So the thing is, there are two purposes of EDA that like that we do in the machine learning or the data modeling. The first purpose is we need to understand about the data. We need to see the data from different specs. We will be seeing how each and every variable is behaving. So it is an understanding that we are actually getting from the data. And second beautiful part is the business does not understand. So half of the modeling work is being clear from the EDA only. So when we work on a EDA, we say, let's example, the business has given us the data and we actually don't know, the business doesn't know like what we will be doing with the modeling. But the thing they can understand is exploratory data analysis. What about the variables, how each and every variable is behaving, and all the things. So it is a two-sided sword. It serves as a two-sided sword. One is we get the understanding of the data. Second is business basically understands how the data is, which of the variable is behaving in which of the direction, so that whenever we give them the insights for the model, it won't be any shock to them that this is a thing that is coming out. So and second thing is if we do the exploratory data analysis, the business will get a glimpse that which of the variable is coming as an interesting variable, which of the variable is not coming interesting variable. So I've been working. So let me give you an example. So I've been working with for one of the pharma company, and this is an Indian pharma company. So this pharma company has various promotion channels. So discounts. They give discounts to the doctors for the medicines. The other promotion channel is they have academic support. They provide academic support to the people. So when we tried analyzing it through exploratory data analysis, we came across that discount is not at correlated with the sales they are getting. But the business is not. But when we did it with the modeling that we have done, so business was very much reluctant to that. No, discount plays a very important role. No, discount plays a very important role. But we have done the EDA and we have shown them that see how your sales are going and how your discounts are going. So then business got a visual representation of the thing, and they able to understand. So it's a two-sided sword. One is it understands, we understand from the data only. It's understanding that we get, and it's understanding that the business also gets, and it's very easy for the business to digest the model that we have been preparing for them. So anything is not coming as a shock to them. So this is some of the hidden facts about the exploratory data analysis that you will actually face when you guys will be actually working on the real time project with the organization.
So, sir, how do we understand what to look for? What to look for while doing the EDA? Because for different industries, we have to look for different things in EDA, right?
So when we actually do the EDA in our machine learning session, then I'll tell you each and everything about this.
Okay, okay.
So what I've done, I have imported the library matplotlib. So I'll say I make a variable, say x is equal to let's say run. I've just made a list. I'll say run it. Another variable y that I make is this is a y variable which I made. If I simply say PLT, so PLT is the matplotlib library that I've taken, and alias name is PLT dot plot x comma y. And I'll say PLT dot show. So always remember, we need to run this show command whenever we are running any of the plotting command. So x and y are the two lists, taking the month, and second is y variable. It is a sales in lakhs or crores, whatever it is. I'll say run it. Oh, sorry. PLT import matplotlib. Oh, sorry. So what I need to do is import matplotlib.pyplot. Sorry.
Sir, you can use shift plus enter every time. We don't need to click on run.
Yeah. So actually I'm used to Spider, but in my system, Spider is not currently working. So yeah, shift and enter, I'll do that. Yeah. So this is a simple graph that came. But this is not the scenario like all the time. We need to construct these simple graphs. So we have various chart parameters. So say we have, so this axis where we have month is known as x-axis. This axis where we have the sales is known as y-axis. So if I need to put the label, so again I need to run these all commands together. I'll say plt dot plot x y, plt dot plot so x-axis is say months, plt dot plot, I'll say CR. So that's the thing that is coming, but sorry, sorry, I have plt dot, yeah,
it is
plt
a
dot
X
x
level,
label, sorry,
X level and
yeah,
Y
so,
level. So.
yeah. So here it is. It will give me the months and the sales. If I need to add another thing to it, that is a chart title, I'll say plt dot title sales. So even I don't use these graphs very often, but some of the basic graphs I use. So this is the way how it looks like.
Sir,
So yeah,
sir, data pre-processing comes under EDA, or is it comes without EDA?
no. Data pre-processing is another concept. EDA is another concept. Data pre-processing is so let's example we have the data in which we have lots of missing values. So pre-processing means imputing those missing values. One, we have a data in which we have lot of outliers. How to treat those outliers is a pre-processing. So whenever we are working on any of the problem, let's example, we have the data where we have say I've been trying to identify whether a particular patient has cancer or not. So let's example. So to identify that, I have the data, but the number of cancer patients are very less. So because of which the model won't be able to understand, like model won't be getting the enough learning on whether this like on the patients who are actually the cancer patients. So we use a technique known as oversampling kind of a technique to just oversample the data before actually making the model. So these are the different things in which we pre-process the data. EDA is the exploratory data analysis. This means exploring the data. So this exploratory data is a thing that comes before pre-processing and after pre-processing as well. Did I able to answer your question?
Oh, sir, can you please repeat it once? I didn't get.
Okay. So basically, data pre-processing simply means, so let's example, you got the data in which you find there are many missing values in the data. So there are many values which are missing. There are many values where you don't have say like the values as null values. So what you will do with the data? So you can't take the data in the same way for the modeling kind of a thing. Why? Because if you take the same thing for the modeling for any of the model, many of the models won't work. So what you need to do, you need to impute the missing values. Impute means fill these missing values. So how can you fill it? So we have different techniques with the help of which we can fill those missing values. So this is known as pre-processing. This is one of the step of pre-processing, one of the example of pre-processing. But when we actually say EDA, EDA is basically sorry. EDA is graphically analyzing, graphically seeing the data, the relationship between variables and all other things. So EDA is a thing that we need to do before data pre-processing and after data pre-processing. Did you get it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, sir, when we check the outliers, acha, so that is in data processing only, na, sir?
That is data pre-processing only. So sometimes, normally what happens? So when you're checking the data, whether the data has outliers or not, and all of the things. So what is pre-processing is so for checking the outliers, you are actually using the technique called EDA, but to treat those outliers. So you need to eliminate the outliers, or you need to uh, uh, like these are the good outliers. You don't need to do anything on that. So this is a part of pre-processing. EDA is a visual. Pre-processing is an action on the data. Did you get it now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, but how we can treat the outliers means if we find some outliers in our data set, how can we remove means is any technique is there, right?
So there are many techniques. So before that, we need to understand what are outliers. Outliers are of two types. One are the good outliers, second is the bad outliers. So when we say the good outliers means these are actually the outliers. So let's example, if I'll say I'll be counting the salaries of the employees of a company. So I've been taking a random sample. So I went to a person, I asked his salary. The salary is say 2 lakhs per month. It's okay. Another person I went, he's a data scientist. The salary is again 2.5 lakhs per month. So in the similar way, I have collected the data, and I met with another person who is again a data scientist. I said, "What's your salary?" He said, "My salary is say 1,000." Okay, I've written it down. I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yes." Okay. The another person I met was the CEO of the company, and I said, "What's your salary?" He said, "My monthly salary is 40 lakhs." Let's say example. So which of the outlier is a good outlier? Which of the outlier is a bad outlier? So the thing is, when the person said my say, yeah, please,
I
please.
think CEO is a good outlier, but
Yeah,
when data analysis with the salary of 1,000 is bad outlier.
bad outlier. So that person was not revealing his salary. So he said, "My salary is 1,000." He has written in the form, "My salary is 1,000." The CEO has written his right salary. So the concept is of good outlier and the bad outlier. So in case our data has good outliers, so we don't need to treat them. In case the data has bad outliers, then we need to treat them. So for treating these bad outliers, we have different imputation techniques. We'll remove those values and we'll fill their a similar kind of experience, their salary. I'll average out and I'll fill with the bad outlier that we have. So that's a way to treat the bad outliers. So good outliers are the things which are no, which don't need to be treated.
Sir, can you explain it again because your voice was broken?
Okay, just give me a second. Let me tell you. So when we say the outliers are of two types. One is a good outlier. So is my voice audible to all now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we say outliers are of two types. One is good outlier, and second is bad outlier. So the example which I have taken is, so let's example, I have taken uh, the data for so I have been asked to sample a few people of a company to understand what are their experiences, what are their salaries, and many more things. So I have taken I went to a job fair and I asked different people about their salaries. So I met say 200, 300 people. And for some of these, the instances are, I asked the salary of a person. He said, my salary is 2 lakhs. Okay. I've been asking a salary of a 10 to 15 or 10 to 20 year of people. One person said, my salary is 2 lakh per month. Second person said, it's 2.5 lakhs per month. Third data scientist said, it's 2 lakh 25,000 per month. Then I met with the fourth data scientist. He said, my salary is 1,000 per month. He has written on the form, my salary is 1,000 per month. Then I met with the CEO of the company. He said, then I met another person, and he's the CEO of the company. He said, my salary is, say, 40 lakhs per month. So out of these, which of the value is a good outlier and which of the value is a bad outlier is my question that I have been referring to. So the people have answered, like, the good outlier is the CEO of the company, because he has revealed his actual salary. His outlier, on average salary coming to be 2.5 lakhs, his salary is 40 lakhs. So he's totally on the top. But the another salary which I have collected is 1,000. So that is a bad outlier. The person has not given his salary just because he doesn't want to reveal his salary. So the good outliers are actually good for the data, because in the real scenario as well, we might get the CEO of the company as well, on which we need to work on. So on the other hand, the bad outlier is the person which needs to be treated. So how it needs to be treated is, we remove the value in the bad outlier and we impute it. When we say impute it, is basically imputing it with a certain variable. Say the people carrying a similar year of experience, their mean average will take and impute it with that value. That is known as outlier treatment. So did you get it now? So all these things we will be
Your
covering.
voice is broken, sir.
My voice is breaking again.
Sometimes.
Okay. Just give me a second. Let me see my.
I can hear it.
Okay, so it might be a problem with someone of you, because some of the other participants can hear me. So any specific thing which you want me to repeat, or the thing where I was actually broken, or the things till where you actually got me?
Sir, hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, if we find bad data, just now you told, like, if we find bad data, then we go for treat outliers, right?
Yeah.
So means what is the imputation? Like, is we go for machine learning or something? Like you told, right? Data preposition, right? Hello.
Yeah. So the thing is, when we say the data pre-processing, it
Yeah,
also
pre-processing. Yes.
includes when we say data pre-processing, it also includes outlier treatment as well, which means in case we come across, so in this scenario, if we'll plot a box plot, then we will be able to identify that these are the two outliers in the data. One is coming as shining as 1,000, second is shining as 40 lakhs. So what we need to do, we need to treat those outliers using the data pre-processing methods. So when we say the data pre-processing methods, these are the things that we will be seeing. Say we will be imputing it. Either we can impute it with the mean of the actual data, or there are certain machine learning techniques as well. Say K means imputing. Second is mice imputing. So these are the things that we will be learning across when we will be working on the machine learning problems. So so considering your current knowledge, I'll give an example of mean imputation. Mean imputation is nothing but imputing that outlier with the average salary of a data scientist with a similar kind of experience will impute, and that will be the imputed value of that outlier.
So one is also flattening the data now. So if in case we don't want to, we don't want data loss, sometimes we remove those columns or rows if we have number of
Okay. So it actually depends. So let's example, we are getting a very less kind of values where there are bad outliers. So what we do, we normally go with eliminating or deleting those values. So because we have, say, only 0.1% of the values that are being the bad outliers, and we actually, and data is too sensitive, we want the accuracy to be very high when we are basically making the model. So in that particular scenario, we don't need to impute, because imputation like whichever technique we apply, it won't be the original value. It will be the imputed value. So in that scenario, we don't go with imputation. We just remove the value since there are very less data points, one. And second, we don't want to sacrifice on the accuracy of the model. So we normally go with deletion of the value. So, but in the another scenario where we have lots of data, lots of points where this value is missing, then what we normally go with, we normally impute it. When we say impute it, is through the techniques that we have discussed. So here, whenever we impute, so the accuracy is a thing that suffers. So we need to consider a point, a break-even point, to the point we are going for the imputation, data pre-processing, or the time where we need to stop and we need to like we don't need to go with the imputation and any kind of a technique. So will I be able to answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anybody else, any other question, or I'll proceed with this EDA, the graphs that we have been seeing. Okay, I'll start with the graphs. So this is the graph that we have seen right now. So let's example, we want to add. We want to just so what I actually want. So when I plot this, so these are the certain things which will easily be able to get it over the net as well. So these are some cosmetic changes which I have been doing. I'll say plt.plot xy. I'll say color. So I'll say C is equal to red. So if I'll run this again, the line will be red. And in case I need to add a marker to it, marker is the dots. Whenever the pointers, the actual pointers are, I need to add markers to it. I'll say comma I'll say shift enter. You'll be able to see that there are certain markers that are coming here. These are nothing but the points that are coming into the consideration. These are the markers.
So what will you assign to marker?
So I just said O. You can say V, let's example. These will come as a triangle kind of a thing. You can simply say T. You will run it. So T is not defined. So O and V are the things that we normally use. So we have these things basically with the help of which we can assign that. So another thing is say star. So I'll say run. This will come as a star kind of a marker. I will say, sorry guys, my throat is not well today. So I'll say P. I'll say shift enter. It will come some other hexagon kind of or octagon kind of a thing that it will come. So these are the different things with the help of which we can change the thing. So I'll say C is equal to green. If I'll run it, the line will be green. So there are different aesthetics which we can say. I know I don't use these any. So
Excuse me, sir.
yeah.
So can we create a different type of graphs? Like, can we create pie chart here?
Yeah. We can create many type of graphs. I'm going towards that only.
Okay.
So there is a aesthetic parameter called line style. Yeah. So we can change the style of the line and many more things we can do. So in a similar way, we can construct many other types of graphs. So we can add the multiple line charts to it. So right now we have a single line chart. We can make it a multiple line charts over it as well. So the data that we had was this one. So let me copy it and paste it. I'll say this again. This over the home, I'll say 2012 sales. Another is say I'll say 2013 sales. I'll say 34, 46, 56, 66, and I'll say 44. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and I'll say 45. So here in this case, what we simply need to do is I need to add two plots to it. So plot refer to the figure that is being plotted. So here what I have been plotting is line graph. So in that scenario, what I need to do, I need to add two plots. So I'll say plt.plot x and y is, instead of y, I'll say 2012 sales. And
So
again,
that
I
is
need to,
variable name, na? 2012 cells.
that's the name of the variable. I can say,
Because it cannot start with the numeric one, na?
yeah. That's why it's also giving me a hint through, I'll say sales. One, two. One, three. Okay. And I'll say PLT dot show. So I'll
The
keep, we'll
sales,
add those.
sir, sales you can take Y also, no? Y means Y means you're trying to do two plotting one
Two
means,
plotting on a single graph.
yeah, two plotting in single graph, right? So you can take Y,
Yeah.
right? Y sales Y. Yeah.
Yeah, these are the name of the variables only. You can take anything here. Say y1, I'll simply say y1. Say.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, these are the name of variables. So I just created those variables just for the understanding, like the graph will make some sense. So apart from that, another thing that we normally add is, so right now we have two things. So I'll simply say, whenever I say PLT, I'll add another line over it is the legend label. So I'll say label is equal to, say I'll say this only. Well, say 2012. Here I say label equal to sales 2013. If I'll run that, so here for this I need to show the legend as well, as it won't work. I'll say plt dot legend. Sales 2013. So I can add so that the
Sir, your voice is
which we normally
breaking.
construct over, we can keep on add another. Okay, just give me a moment. Just give me this. I am from So guys, am I audible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me share my screen again. So is my screen visible to all?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is the way we basically construct the line graph. And in similar way, we can keep on adding the number of lines that we have over here using this simple plotting thing that we have seen. So apart from that, we have like we can add the different dimensions, different things depending on the problem that we have been trying to solve. So apart from that, we have different type of graphs that we can actually construct. So here we can construct the subplots as well. So the thing is, yeah. Anybody any question?
Can we add a line width to the plot?
Yeah, we can add a number of things. So there would be some other variable, say line width is equal to 10. Let's example. Let's see what happens. Yeah, like this. With me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So guys, so what I'll do now is I'll simply plot it with subplot. So subplot is again an important thing. So sometimes we don't actually want to see the plot in a single kind of a graph. So what we do is, so I'll write the code again for you guys. Initially only we allocate a size. So I'll say plt dot figure. I'll say fig size is equal to 10,10. So this will do nothing, but I'll say plt dot show. So this has allocated this area to the plot that we have been making. So I'll show you why it is required. So I'll say plt dot subplot to 2 comma 2 comma 1. So first initial tools are, it has been dividing this 10 by 10 area into four portions. The first portion being, so the, let's example, if I say 2 2 and 1, I'll tell you what is the meaning of 1. So I'll say I'll copy this. I'll say I'll delete this. Okay. Again, I'll say copy this. I'll paste this. So now these graphs are coming into two portions, but I have allocated a space of 4. So I can simply add 2 more to it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the purpose of plt.subplot 222?
So this means, so if I'll say plt.subplot 2 and 1, this means this area that I've allocated, 10 by 10 area, I've allocated to the graphs that I'll be making for this. So in this 2 to 2, I'm saying I'll be making total 4 graphs. So like this, 1, 2, 3 and 4 will come down. So here I've been saying I'll be making 4 graphs. So I have been making, say, 2 horizontally and 2 vertically is the thing which I have been allocating, which I have been telling to the Python, or this particular figure. And this graph 2 to 1 will be the first graph of these 4 graphs that I'll be constructing. This graph will be the second graph of the 4 graphs that I've been constructing. Now if I'll say 2, 2 and 3, let's example, and I'll say shift enter. So it will say third graph has again been constructed. And in a similar way, I can keep on constructing the 4 graphs. So because I have allocated a space of 4.
So we can create a 4 graph here.
Yeah, because I have 2 construct 4 graphs here. This will be the 4th graph that I'll be constructing.
Okay, sir.
So it will look something like this. So I don't know about the alignment. So it will come correct. So basically it normally comes correct, but I don't know what is not coming correct. So you can try. It will come correct on your system. In case it is not, then we need to explore it over the net why it is not coming like this.
Sir, can you explain 223, 224, please?
Okay, sure. So thing is, when I say, so these are the 2 lines that are important. So this line means 10 by 10 space for the figure I will be constructing using this graph. 2 to 1 means here the first 2 and 2 means in the space allocated above, I will be constructing 4 graphs, 2 in each line, and this one means the current graph will be the first in these. Did you get it?
Sir, current graph will be the first one in this means what?
So this means like if I said 2, here I said 2 to 1. Here I said 2 to 2, which means this graph will be the second graph. So this graph will be nothing but this second graph. The above graph, this graph, which I have been making, will be the first graph. So this graph will be this graph. Second is this. 2 to 1 means this. 2 to 2 means this. 2 to 3 means this. 2 to 4 means this.
Okay, sir, got it.
So we can
So can you try writing 4 4 in place of 2 2?
yeah, we can. I can write anything. I can write. So instead of 4 4, I can say simply write say.
I just want to see what happens 4 4 if we write 4 4.
So nothing will happen in this scenario, but what we need to do, we need to make. So it will construct 16 graphs. So I need to pass. So it's 4 4 1. Then I'll say 4 4 2. Then I'll say 4 4 3. Then I'll say 4 4 4. So it will come in a line. So I'll say. Just give me. So we have a space to construct 16 graphs. So if I'll say now. So this space is actually is very less. So I'll say.
Okay, I got it, sir.
20 20. So then it will. So if I'll say 20 20. If I'll say now control enter. So shift enter. So again, if I'll say, so these are the 4 graphs that will be constructed. So in a similar way, we can increase the space. So let's example, I'll say in one line, 3 graphs I'll be constructing, and this will be the first one. 1 3 2. I'll say 1 3 3. I'll say delete it. I'll say shift enter. So ideally, because of space, it is not coming. Ideally, it comes as a thing into a line, like a graph in. So I'll say, I'll change the space. Say 14 by 4. I'll say shift enter. I'll further say
Sir,
12 by
10,
4.
12. It will 10, 12 might be work, I think.
Yeah, so these are the things which we need to adjust actually. 10 comma 12. I'll say shift enter. No, it's not working.
Sir, use PLT dot show
Say,
at the end only.
sorry.
Use PLT dot show at the end only, sir. Means at the last code.
Yeah, yeah. So I was
The
saying,
coding.
so here L. Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Sir, PLT dot show, you have to remove and paste it at the end of the
Oh,
program.
okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Now it's working.
So 1 comma 3 means so in one line 3 graphs will be there.
Yeah, and this will be the first one. So when I say 2, 2, 1 means in 2 lines, 2 graphs will be there. Total will be 4 graphs, and this will be the first one. So here I'm saying in one line, 3 graphs will be made, and this will be the first one.
Got it, sir.
Okay, so what we need to do is basically, okay, so what we'll do, I'll take a short bio break here, and I'll resume in next 5-7 minutes. Okay, guys, is it fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure.
Uh, Hi guys, class are till 10:30 na, or is extended?
Maybe extended.
2?
10,
It
10:45.
started from 9, so I guess it will be till 11 at least.
No, it started from 8:30 actually. 8:32. I joined from 8 when where the sir give the assignment of prime number.
Let's see.
Okay.
Hi guys, I'm back.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. So can we start? Oh, my screen has gone. So can we start?
Yes, sir.
So let us work on a data. So I'll just give me a second. So I have a data with me. So this data with me. I'll send you this data along with. This is one of the data that is the diabetes data that is basically on the GitHub as well. But don't worry, I'll share it with you. So I'll just import this
We
data.
have already this data, sir. Means,
Okay. Then
I
you can
have
use.
already this data.
Okay. Then you can use this data in case you want to. In case you don't have the data, there are two things. One is simply go on. Yeah, simply go on the Google. And say diabetes.csv. It is over the GitHub. Just go over the GitHub. Just copy this. Just copy this from glucose or say raw. Raw file. Just copy and paste it over there. So it is the same data only in the Excel. Or I'll give you this data tomorrow through this, like the way you are getting on the on your LMS portal. I'll say. So when we need to import the data, I'll say import. So guys, please put yourself on mute. I am getting some voice. So import pandas as PD. I'll say this data is here. I'll say just give me a second. Copy as path. I'll say is equal to PD dot read Excel. I'll say R. I'll say this. I'll say this. I'll say data dot head. I'll say data dot column. Sorry. Data dot columns. These are the columns I have. I'll say so in case you need these notes, so some of like the notes will be available on the LMS portal, and but if you want the exact things that are there, so these will be uploaded tomorrow as well. So I'll say here plt dot figure. I'll take a size, say fig size is equal to, I'll say 12 by 10, whatever it is. So here I'll use a for loop. I'll say for I in range. How many columns are there? 1, 2, 3, 6. So I need to say if I'll say len call, I'll say run this, say 8 columns, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So from 0 it is 7. Here I'll say 8. I'll say range len call. So it will go till 8, which means it will start from 0 and go to 7. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it will go till there. I'll say plt dot subplot. I'll say I need it in 3 lines, 3 graphs, and this will be the ith graph. If I'll say ith graph, so I'll say, so before this I'll say print I. Okay, so I'll say data call I, which means I have been referring to a particular column here. So if I'll say data, data okay, just give me a second. 8 will not become, I'll say like this. I'll say run. This will give the 8th column, the last column outcome. You see this column 1010. This is, I am referring to the 8th column. So here as well I need to say, if I'll say range 8. So if I'll say, so let's say example, I will say for I in range len call print I. So let's see what happens. It will go till 7 columns, 0 till 7. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 till outcome it will go. In case we don't want to plot outcome, I'll say -1. So it will not go to outcome. Okay. So data call I dot plot. I'll say plot dot histogram. This is the way to plot the histogram. If I'll simply say if I remove this, I'll say run, show this value, call -1. I'll say call -2. This will show this value. I'll say dot plot dot hist. I'll say run. This is a histogram that is coming. So I'll say plt.show. I'll say run. Sorry. Okay, I have not used PLT. So if I would have used PLT dot, so I will simply using the histogram dot plot dot hist. So here I will say dot, if I would have used PLT dot something, then like this.
Anybody there?
So you have not imported matplotlib, na?
So I cannot hear you.
So
He lost his connection, I guess.
सर के नोट्स अपलोड हो गए हैं क्या? एनीबॉडी इज देयर हु कैन टेल मी?
I don't know. I'm not sure about it.
Somebody was saying that code files have been uploaded there.
There are some notes on the LMS though.
His notes are available in code. It's a code file.
It's IPN by Jupyter notebook format.
Is it there in the
Excel
Jupyter notebook?
sheets have not been shared. The sir prepares his own note in the class.
I checked about yesterday. There was two code like that. There is two files uploaded.
Sure, I will ask her to.
Yeah, please. Yeah, so sorry, I was on like hold. Yeah, so yeah, you guys are discussing about the notes.
Yes.
So like I've been sending the Jupyter notebook files. So whatever notes I make are based on these files only. So like today, if I made these notes, these are available in these files only, and I'll keep on sending these files to the IIBM, and what they do, they upload it over the portal.
Sir, what about YouTube videos, sir?
So YouTube videos, I don't know, because YouTube videos are the things that are being recorded on the cloud. And so I don't have the access. So you have to ask from them only.
Sir, today 3 videos are uploaded.
Okay.
Loop,
In case
I think loop, data type, and third one I don't know. There is 3 videos uploaded. I checked it.
Is there in YouTube or on another platform, guys?
I think only YouTube videos are uploaded. There is no other platform for lecture recording.
The previous link only, or is new YouTube link? No, any.
There is all videos, previous ones and the present.
Means YouTube link will be same, right?
Yes, IIBM channel name is IIBM.
Okay,
In-
okay.
And you can get all the videos.
Okay, guys. So yeah, you can discuss with IIBM. And in case you're not getting anything, then you need to let me know, and I'll pass the message to them. So before that, so yeah, I got
Actually, before that, could you please pass the message? Actually, the thing is, some of us get proper message
so
from the
your voice is breaking.
class link.
So whosoever is speaking, your voice is breaking. I cannot hear anything.
Better. Could you hear me now, sir?
Yeah, you're audible now. Please ask.
Hello.
Yeah.
Actually, could you pass a message with some of regarding
Although your voice is
the
breaking
video
a lot.
you will be uploaded a cloud platform.
So I don't know like the name of the person who is speaking, but the voice is breaking a lot. I cannot hear anything. You can drop me your message here, and the work that you have done today, like the prime number identification, can also be needs to be sent here only on this email ID, which I've written over my screen right now. If my screen is visible, you can write down this email ID.
Can't see your screen, sir.
Okay, just give me a second.
Sir, you're sharing the code base file only, na? So means you're not sharing the Excel notes or Word or Excel notes.
So
Because
which Excel notes you read? I normally prepare the notes on this only, like the Jupyter notebook only.
so sorry, sir, I have not attended your class for long. So earlier you used to teach on the from Excel, na? Whatever you teach, you write it down in the Excel sheet, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, but for this session, like when I've been teaching Python basics, I've been writing it on the Jupyter only. So whenever I write anything on the Excel, I'll ask them to upload that Excel as well. So so to say today I have just told you what is histogram over the Excel, but apart from that, whenever I teach anything over the Excel, then I'll pass it to them. In case I've been missing anything, then do let me know and I'll pass it to them.
Yes, sir, because your notes are easy to understand. That's why.
Yeah. I agree. So what I'll do, in case I prepare anything over the Excel, I'll pass it to them as well. But during the class only, I'll keep on saving it. But till now, I have not passed Excel to them, so it's not the thing like which they have not shared. It's a thing that which I have not shared. So in case you find anything which I have taught over the Excel and I have not passed it to them, then do let me know. I'll pass it to them.
So if possible, can you please share those KNN Excel sheets, like whatever you taught in previous ML classes? So if
Okay. You're talking about the previous. Okay. I've been talking about this class. So sure. I'll do that.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So this is the plot that we have made. I'll say, like, what this for loop will do. So this for loop will keep on constructing the graphs. It will make 8 graphs out of it. 8 or 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 graphs out of it. 7 graphs. And the way the graphs will be constructed are written in the body of the loop. I'll say plt dot x label. I'll say call I. And I'll say After this loop, I'll say plt dot show. After every graph is being made, then the show will be executed. I'll say run this. Sorry, plt. Okay, sorry. Import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt, and I'll say run this now. What is the error that is coming?
So I think subplot does not accept the value as 0, sir. When we ran the for loop earlier, we saw that we got values from 0 to 7.
Okay. So I'll say I
Sir.
plus 1.
Yes, sir.
So I'll say run. So that's the error, I guess it is coming. Num must be between 1 to 9, not 0. See the error that is coming. So I'll say, I'll run again. It is printing right now. It is printed. So now the graphs have come. See. Sorry, come again. The voice is breaking, guys. So it has printed I as well. So it has printed I. I ask it to be print I. If I'll remove this, it will not print I for the reference only. And I'll say the graphs, then the graphs are being prompted. I'll say if I'll run it again, then only the graphs will come. Like this. Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys. So we have certain more graphs that have been left. So apart from that, I'll be the things that I'll be sharing is more graphs. Sorry. And pandas aggregation. So these are the things which I'll be covering with you guys. So most probably tomorrow I'll be covering some more graphs. So else the graphs are similar. So I'll tell you one or two or more graphs as well. Say the pie chart, say correlation matrix, or any of the things, a bar chart. And after that, I'll come to the pandas aggregation tomorrow. So and tomorrow, or say I'll take one more class because I was on leave yesterday. I might require one more class for covering these things. So, but more or less tomorrow or one day more than tomorrow, your Python basics is a thing that will be covered. So and after that we will be starting with the machine learning for you guys. So just make yourself comfortable with the things that we have seen. If we'll practice the things that we have done in the class, then also that is enough. You don't have to do anything extra or any new thing which you need to practice. Only this thing will suffice the purpose. And after that, what we will do is we will be going with the machine learning session. So the important thing about the machine learning session is, in machine learning, we will not be covering these things in this much of detail. We will be basically focusing on the machine learning, the prediction, and all other things. So guys, so these are the things which I have been going a bit slowly because you guys are new to Python. Just keep on practicing the notes which I have been sharing, which you're getting on the from like in the form of PYNB file. So that thing will be enough. So post that, we will be going forward with the machine learning sessions. I hope everybody is aligned.
So tomorrow you're going for Python basic class, right?
Tomorrow Python basic, I'll be covering more graphs, one, and
Okay.
I'll see if I can start the pandas aggregation. If I can start, then it's fine. Else I'll book some other day with the IABM because yesterday I was on leave and ideally it should be covered like the pandas aggregation to be covered tomorrow, but we have been covering more graphs because when we work on graphs, it normally take 2 days. So in case I won't be able to cover,
What is there in Panda aggregation?
so I'll be telling you how to construct the pivot table, what is group by, and all other things in the pandas that are important.
Sir, you have already taught linear logistics in Amil. Again, you will start with the same, sir.
No, so the people who have joined after doing the machine learning,
This is a new batch.
yeah, this is a new batch. The people who have covered the machine learning, I'll start the AI for them, artificial intelligence for them, where I'll be covering convolution neural networks. I'll be covering NLP. I'll be covering LSTM, long short term memory networks. Yeah.
When the AL class is going on?
AI, so I am not aware about the schedule.
AI class.
So yeah, I am not aware about the schedule. So most probably AI classes will start from 15th or 16th is a thing which I know. And machine learning classes for the new batch who are attending this Python basics, they will be shared with the schedule when they will be starting with the machine learning sessions.
It's coming 15. You're going to start AI, right?
15th or 16th, you will be
15th
you
or
will
16th,
be getting.
okay.
Yeah. So
This is covering some projects also, sir.
Yeah. So 15 and 16. So I have 2 topics left with the previous machine learning session that I have been taking. First topic is the Naive Bayes. Second is ARIMA thing and a complete project. So these are the 3 things that have been left. So initially for 1 or 2 days, I'll be covering that, and then I'll be jumping to artificial intelligence.
So you're covering ARIMA project and nail-based project, you're saying?
No. So the thing is, I will be covering a full-blown project, how it is being done on a machine learning, which will include pre-processing one, which will include a use of, say, like the holdout methods, k-fold holdout, or any other methods. With any of the any of the algorithm I can pick, and I'll explain you the entire project, the life cycle of a project, of a machine learning project. And then after that, I'll be starting with the AI sessions for you guys.
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I received a mail from IIBM and they mentioned that AI will start from 12th March to 23 March.
12th, no. So if they mentioned 12th, then they are wrong, because ideally this batch, this Python basic needs to be completed today. But I was on leave yesterday, so tomorrow I'll be covering this Python basics only.
Sir, actually, you only told that from 13th you can start AI. That's
so
why.
13th is Saturday. 13th is Saturday.
Okay, fine.
So that's why I'm saying 15th or 16th.
Okay, no problem. When 15, 16, you're starting AI, right?
AI, but before starting AI, I'll be covering the 2 topics that have been left for the previous batch for machine learning. That is complete project and Naive Bayes and ARIMA. So these are the things I'll be covering first, and then I'll be starting with AI. So this will take initial 1 or 2 days, and rest of the days I'll covering the AI part.
Okay, sir.
So
yeah, anybody any question?
Sir, I have.
So sir, what is the timing for the AI, or what's the timing for the ML? Is that separate batch, or
these are separate
same
batches? Okay, so let me clear it out. So we have 2 batches that have been going on right now. One is the people who have already attended the machine learning sessions, leaving 1 or 2 topics which I need to tell, and another batch is the people who came for the first time for Python basics. So the people who came for the Python basics for the first time, I'll be starting machine learning for them, and the time and the schedule will be communicated to them through IIBM. 1, this is clear. Second is for the students for whom I have covered the machine learning, I'll be covering AI for them, and that will start from 15th or 16th. Provided in this AI, I'll also cover the 1 or 2 topics that have been left out.
So both timings are separate in.
Yeah, both the timings are separate. So for the people who have attended the Python basics for the first time, they will be communicated about their machine learning timings. I'm not aware about the same, but I have the AI schedule with me, that it is scheduled. It is starting from 15th or 16th. So I'll start AI for them on 15th and 16th or 16th.
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
I
Next
have
class,
a
please tell me a timing.
Yeah. So IIBM will basically tell you, but I can tell you tomorrow. I'll tell you the time of the AI when it will be starting, 15th or 16th exactly, and what will be the exact time.
Sir, can I please speak now?
Yeah, please.
Sir, I haven't joined the classes from that association room, that market basket analysis one, sir.
So in that scenario, I will request you to join the session of AI first, because in this AI, I'll be covering the entire project. So in case one or two algorithms that have been left out, you can go for the recordings, or you can ask them to put you in the new batch for these sessions that have been left out.
Sir, so what you have taught after market basket analysis, sir?
After market basket analysis, I have taught random forest. I've taught the theory of ARIMA. I've taught the theory of the naive Bayes. So I guess these are the three things which I have taught. Random forest I have taught completely. And apart from that, I taught the theory of ARIMA and the naive Bayes to an extent only, I guess. So in case I have been leaving any one like any topic, then I'm not sure, but I guess I have covered these things only.
Okay, sir.
So did you also cover the confusion matrix?
Yes, sir, I have already
Okay.
attended.
Then these are the things that have been left out.
Okay, sir.
Sir, it will be better if class will be means yes, both the class timing and the web links will be shared for the IBM, so we can attend any of the classes. Which I
Yes, so
left.
you can request this to IBM. So for the people who are like for the first time they are attending, they are from the new batch, they are attending the Python basics. I will request them not to join the AI, because they will be confused in this scenario, because the people who have covered the machine learning, they know the concepts of machine learning. If I'll say at this time the sensitivity will be this one, specificity will be this one, so the people won't be able to understand, because they have not attended the machine learning classes. The people who have not attended the machine learning sessions, please don't join the AI, because you guys will be confused. First go with the machine learning and then come to the AI. The people who have attended the machine learning sessions are requested to join AI sessions. With me?
Yes, sir. Sir, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, got it, sir.
Yeah. Anybody else? Any question?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So for the new batch, sir, by when you will the machine learning part will be finished?
Machine learning part will be started or finished?
Let's start both the things I want to know.
So okay, for machine learning classes, I'm not sure. So the normal scenario, what they do is after the Python basic, they give you guys a break of say week or 10 days to revise the basics, and then they will start the machine learning. But in case they have any other scenario, any other plan for you guys, then they will let you know. For
Sir,
me,
for new batch, it's from 11th May to 31st May, machine learning.
11th May.
Yeah.
So I guess it will be too late. It will be, I guess, say 1st of April, I guess the date should be, or even before that. So because I'll take 10-12 days to cover artificial intelligence. So I guess if they take buffer of 2 days as well, then it won't exceed 1st of April. So you can check with them again. So because 1st of May will be too far with you for you guys. So you can just ask them like
Because after AI, they have added Tableau,
okay.
then
Then
business
yeah.
analytics and all.
Okay, might be. I'm not sure about that, because I'm a data science trainer with them. I'm not sure about that. I won't be taking Tableau and other things. I'll be taking only the data science things like Python, machine learning, and AI. So in case you have any other plans, like the IBM has some other plans basis your course content, then they will be covering that. Sure, guys.
So, sir, Tableau will cover in the 30th up to 30th March.
So I'm not sure about Tableau because
23rd.
I'm not sure about Tableau. So because I'm not the faculty for Tableau, somebody else will be teaching you Tableau. Yeah. So I'm not sure about that.
the schedule which I have got, it's written here that from 12th March to 23rd March, in this new batch, there will be artificial intelligence topics.
So I don't think you guys will be you will be going for the artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is pretty much.
I think there is something wrong with the schedule.
Yeah, you can ask them. You should not go for a AI thing directly, because it will be a 80% confusion and 20% learning.
I guess after Python basics from 12th March, it's supposed to be a machine learning piece of artificial intelligence.
So it's fine if you're there covering Tableau and business analytics, it's fine, but they should not
No,
cover.
Tableau they are starting from 24th March.
Yeah, okay. So in case they want you to attend AI, then for me the scenario is you won't be the suitable fits for AI at this point of time. So
I understand that. So that's why I think we need to talk to them.
Yeah, please.
That is for the older batch, sir. Right?
Yeah,
I guess that's for the older batch.
For older batch. So.
Yeah.
AI and Tableau 12 to 31st March for the older batch.
Okay.
But that's the schedule which I have got.
Okay, so there might be some confusion. You can clarify it with them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So are we done for the day?
Yeah, we are done for the day. Tomorrow I'll be covering more graphs and some pandas aggregation as well. Okay, guys. So tomorrow
we'll also be seeing the non-graphical EDA techniques, right?
Yeah. So I'll show you how to construct tables, how to construct other things through pandas aggregation that I've been.
Because for machine learning, I guess EDA is the most important part. Because if you don't get that, then it will be very difficult.
Yeah. So I'll be telling you the group by command, the pandas aggregation will be serving this purpose only. Which you are basically saying.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So thank you very much. Good night, and we'll meet tomorrow at 8:30.
Okay.
Tomorrow
is 8:30 only.
8:30 only. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, guys. Bye.